So next up is Brandon Hansen, a massive 6'6", 290-pound offensive tackle from Mundelein, Illinois. Had offers from Wisconsin, Toledo, Central Michigan. And I'm going to throw something out at you guys. I think this guy is the most overlooked player in the Illinois class. Not that the other guys aren't really good, but it seems like because he committed to Illinois so early, he had the same problem that happens to basketball players that do that. It seems like if you commit to Illinois early, your rankings have a ceiling put on them automatically. It doesn't seem to matter what sport. Ked, Matt, you guys tell me, am I wrong in what I'm seeing, Ked?
I'm laughing because I had a conversation with the basketball parent tonight who said exactly what you just said about committing early. But we'll save that for another podcast. I agree with you. He committed to Illinois early, and he was sold on his home state university. You know, one of the things I like about him is that he's an in-state kid, but he is he played left tackle at Mundelein. The thing I really like about him is that he's really physical. He's strong, and he likes contact. He doesn't shy away from it. And I think his physical style of play suits the Big Ten. And I think here's another kid that committed early, but also who's playing with a chip on the shoulder. And he had some really good offers. I mean, got from schools that you mentioned, Mike, that typically do well with offensive linemen. So I just think his physical play and his ability to just knock people over suits Brett Bielema football. Excuse me, I'm talking basketball, football. So you got me thinking basketball because we're talking about kids committing early. So,
No,
but anyway,
no more as talk tonight.
So anyway, I do like the fact that he's going to be at Illinois early in the spring semester. So kudos to keeping this kid in state.
Okay, first of all, Mike Kegley, I agree with you because from a ranking standpoint, you are correct. He is probably one of the more overlooked person in the 2024 class for Illinois. In terms of the coaching community at the power schools, he was not. Okay. So Brandon signed now, and I get to tell this story. Okay. I am standing on the sideline at Starkville High, and Brett Bielema is talking to a fan who wants to know about his 2024 recruiting class in Starkville, Mississippi. He found an Illini fan in Starkville, Mississippi. I don't really know how this works, but whatever. And Bielema knows I'm standing right next to this person and I'm hearing this, but he's telling a story about Brandon Hansen. And he's telling the guy that if Brandon Hansen wanted to reopen his recruitment and decommit from Illinois, he would be getting offers from Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, and all of those schools. And you think that that's total BS, right? Well, it's not. And I know that it's not because Brandon Hansen's personally called Bart Miller and Brett Bielema to tell him, you know that Michigan called me and tried to get me to decommit, right? He says, by the way, that was a week after Alabama tried to do the exact same thing. So the coaches have recognized the fact that Brandon Hansen is a superior talent at an interior offensive line position for some time now. And I think that he is potentially somebody who, when you look at all of the offensive line talent that Illinois has brought into this 2024 class, Brandon Hansen might get on the field first because I think this coaching staff knows, A, he plays with the mentality that they want him to play with. Specifically, he's mean. He's a mean kid inside the lines. And two, they think that his football intelligence is at a level that an 18-year-old shouldn't be at. And I think that they think that from a recruiting ranking standpoint, that he should at least have a star and a half more to his name. And that they know for a fact that if he had decommitted from Illinois, he would have gotten offers from every SEC power and probably 2 or 3 schools that are going to compete in the college football playoff this year. And I think that would have risen his recruiting stock to the point where he would have been one of the highest ranked national offensive linemen in the country. I think Brandon Hansen has a chance to be one of the most valued members of this 2024 recruiting class, regardless of the position. But because he's going to play interior offensive line, I think he has a chance. Brett Bielema, during his signing day press conference, compared him to Frankie Ragnow, who he had at Arkansas. People need to understand the Detroit Lions pay Frank Ragnow the most money of any interior lineman in the National Football League right now. And so that is as high a compliment as Brett Bielema can give somebody who knows what interior offensive line play is supposed to look like.
So with that high IQ and a little bit of meanness when he's out on the football field, he's a little bit like the Sheldon Cooper who was trying to experiment with a death ray on Big Bang Theory when he was a 14-year-old. So we've got a player here with its high potential. Again, we're just telling you there's several players in this class that are really intriguing to think about what they could do for Illinois. And again, I don't know that if you're an offensive lineman, I don't know that you can go to a better coach than Brett Bielema, because if you compare, he's right behind Nick Saban, but Nick Saban gets nothing but 5 stars, and Brett Bielema does it with 3 and 4 stars. So, you know, where you're going to put your money for somebody to develop you, to me, that's an easy decision to make.